Yo, what's going on, buddy? This is Don't Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what I wanted to do is I want to talk about the NFL, and a lot of people have kind of started this debate here over the past couple years about the NFL preseason games, about should players actually play in the preseason games? Should they not? There's all these situations that we have to kind of deal with. Could you get injured in the preseason game? Could it be valuable because then you get more reps? There's a lot to talk about whenever it comes to preseason games. Now, my whole standpoint on preseason games has always just been, it doesn't matter. It's not going to impact your way of winning a Super Bowl at the end of the day. So when it comes to the starters, if they are already a proven starter, there's no reason for them to play. But in the past couple of years, there's been like levels to this of ways of how people have kind of impacted my thoughts of this, up to where it's like, maybe it's not so bad to play in the preseason. Plus, now that we've gone from 4 preseason games down to 3 preseason games, it's become a little bit more valuable of like, you need to at least get one game in there. So what I wanted to do is, like I said, real quick, just kind of give my explanation as the kind of reasoning behind, should they play in preseason games, should they not play in preseason games, and for the players that should and should not, why they should do each reason. But without further ado, I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna get straight into this. So if you're going to enjoy, as always, make sure you're gonna drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. But without further ado, let's get into it. Now, starting off with the players that should play in the preseason game. Number one reason is because, as always, regular season doesn't start till almost September. Obviously, you have the training camp, you have your OTAs, you have whether you're with the team or not with the team, you're always practicing, you're getting back used to playing football, you're training in the summer. But you haven't had that full, like, adrenaline pumping contact, just like real football, since about January, to be fair. So you're basically going from almost January, sometimes even December if you didn't make the playoffs, basically 9 months without full speed contact. Like, guys are trying to hurt you, because you can say what you want about, oh, they practice in practice, they're doing the scrimmages between teams during the preseason games. That's all cute and fun, but that's not full speed playing where the guys are trying to actually hit you, tackle you, sack the quarterback, everything between. And when it comes to playing in the preseason games, nobody's saying play the entire game. Nobody's saying, like for me, the Browns, nobody's saying Deshaun Watson needs to go out there and play the whole entire game. If you were a Chiefs fan, nobody says Mahomes needs to go out there and play the entire game. We're just saying play a drive and a half. And when I say a drive and a half, I'm meaning, like, say they go out there and it's just 3 and out. You don't want to end on that. You want to try and get at least, I would say, 7 to 15 plays. Just get them back in a rhythm, especially in the first game. Get them in a rhythm. Get these guys back used to playing some football. Plus, also, for a lot of these players, they've missed playing. They want to get back out there. The defensive players, they want to feel some contact again. The quarterbacks, they want to get used to just reading a defense, going through their progress, and just finding the receivers. Get their mind ready to play football again. Because, like I said, you can talk all you want about, they do it in practice, they do it all through the summer. That's practice. That's like a controlled environment. Playing in a game against another team that isn't worried about you and how you succeed is a completely different scenario. My other thing is, let's talk about players that have been coming off of injuries. Players that maybe were injured last year. They're fully healthy now, but they need to just experience, they need to get back out there and experience a little bit of football. Nobody says they need to go out there and run 100 miles an hour, but they need to just get used to running out there on the field, just running around, see if they're, whether it be a broken bone, torn muscle, concussion, whatever it may be, a snapped finger, maybe a facial issue, whatever it may be. They just need to get used to just being on the field again. When it comes to why you shouldn't play in the preseason games, that goes hand in hand with the injury thing. If you were injured, you can make the case for that as well, of you shouldn't be anywhere on the field, especially if you were injured last season. You want to wait until the actual regular season to play. This topic was brought up a lot on ESPN, all the talk shows in the morning. They were all saying, especially like with Aaron Rodgers, how it's like they don't want him to touch the football field until week 1, maybe even week 2, because of the Achilles injury, even though he said last season he was ready to go towards the end of the season. Now he's had a whole summer, he's had a whole training camp, and he's still not ready for week 1, even though he was apparently ready last season. I don't understand that. But when it comes to players that are injured, I've realized whenever it comes to playing in the preseason game, it doesn't matter. It's not going to impact you. There's no reason to play in the preseason game, so why risk your body to go out there and get hurt again in a game that doesn't matter? And like I just said there, leads me to my second point. Preseason games do not matter. They have no impact on if you're going to win the Super Bowl, playoff indications, anything. Biggest thing that comes out of preseason games is just letting the scrubs, the backups, the third strings, the janitor boys, towel boys, anything like that, they're the ones that are supposed to be playing the game. Because most of the time when you go into these preseason games, obviously it's a 53-man roster. You know about 25 to 35 players that are going to be 100% on the team. The other 20 to 25 players, you kind of have a clue of who they could be, but you need these preseason games to play out so we can find out who really is making this team. Because as you went through OTAs, minicamp, rookie minicamp, training camp has been going on, you kind of have an idea of like, these players are shining, these players are they're up in the air, and these players are not going to make the team. You could go to a preseason game, and it could be like the guys that you thought were going to make the team just suck, and the guys that you thought, oh, hell no, they're not making this team, go out there and just ball out. It's a very weird world that we live in preseason games where it's like anything can happen. And in the preseason games, a lot of times where, like I said, the starters, they don't play that much. If they don't need to play, they play maybe a drive, a quarter. Those backups go in about the second quarter, and they are going to take over. And that right there is, I think, my last little thing I kind of want to talk about with why they shouldn't play in the preseason games. Starters, guys that we think are already good, maybe we have high hopes for them. What happens if they go out there in a preseason game and they just shit the bed? Like, it's a quarterback that we think, oh my god, he's going to be so good. He goes out there and he goes like 1 for 7 with the team, and everybody just like thinks it's the end of the world. Didn't that happen with CJ Stroud last year? Look how that turned out. He was pretty good, wasn't he? And if you don't remember correctly, he played against the New England Patriots the first week of the preseason. He was very bad. I think he went, 1 for 3, 1 for 2. He got sacked. He was bad. And look what happened. He won Rookie of the Year. And then my last thing I want to discuss with this goes for like both, kind of like with the injuries, both for why they should and should not play in the preseason games. I think that it should be the starters, the veterans. They should not be playing it because they're obviously pretty much made the team. It should be more the rookies that are playing the team, the rookies, the backups, the guys that are trying to make the team. But sometimes you have these rookies that they've pretty much made the team. Like if it's a top 5 pick quarterback, they obviously have made the team. But sometimes the teams, they like to baby it a little bit. Caleb Williams with the Bears, they like to baby it a little bit. They don't want him out there. They don't want him playing in games that don't really matter. But then whenever it comes to the rookies that are like more second, third, fifth, sixth, seventh round picks, they're the ones that are on the field. They're trying to ball out, trying to make the team. I just think whenever it comes to rookies, especially in the Caleb Williams scenario, he needs to be on the field. He needs to get those reps. Like I said, practice is one thing. It's a controlled environment. When you're out there on Sundays, it is every man for themselves. It is no holds bar. You are on your own sometimes when you're back there behind the line of scrimmage. These rookie quarterbacks especially, they got to get used to calling the plays, getting ready, no huddle. You got to learn that whole play call. There's no looking over the sideline. You got to be able to hear the play in your helmet, and you got to be able to read it back to the players. It's a whole new offense. There's all this different shit you got to do. That's just my big gripe with it. There's cons and pros to playing in the preseason game and not playing in the preseason game. For me, I would just kind of lean more towards the side of like, I don't think you need to play in the preseason game as long as like you have your roster spot solidified. If you have your spot solidified and you already know, like the league can look at you and be like, yep, this guy is already good. He's a great player. We don't need to see anything of him. Then okay, you don't need to play. But if there's question marks around you or you're a rookie, you need to be out there. You need to be playing. And especially whenever it comes to like players, for me, I'll talk about like from a case that I can understand because I'm a Browns fan. Players like Myles Garrett does not need to play. Players like Nick Chubb coming off the injury, the devastating injury, he does not need to play. Players like Denzel Ward maybe could play. Deshaun Watson if he wanted to play. Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper. If they wanted to, like I said, a drive, I understand that. If they want to go like a drive, a quarter, maybe a half quarter, I understand that. But they don't need to be playing anything more than that. I guess long story short, it just kind of comes to preference of like, do you want to play or not? That's pretty much what it comes down to in the NFL. But other than that, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy, as always, make sure you go and drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. If you wanted to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And like I said, if you have an opinion, do you agree or disagree with anything I said? Do you think that they should play in the preseason games, the players? Should they not play in the preseason games? Do you think that it should be reserved for just like the rookies, backups, towel boys? Should they be the ones playing? Should starters play in the preseason games? Whatever your opinion may be, leave a complete opinion down in the comment section down below. Be more than welcome to talk about with you guys. If you're a fan of the content that I do poster and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified second I post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.